Good day, everyone. I am your teacher for today, Sir Paguyo, an Associate Professor 5 from the College of Education. When you reflect on your educational journey and teaching practices, you will realize how much the origins and nature of philosophy have shaped your understanding of education. Philosophy, which is derived from the Greek words philo, love, and sophite, wisdom, began as an intellectual pursuit to understand the fundamental aspects of life, existence, knowledge, and values. In the context of education, philosophy helps me explore the more profound questions surrounding the purpose of learning, the nature of knowledge, and the role of the educator. Philosophy shapes the theoretical framework of education and influences the way we approach teaching. Through philosophy, we find ourselves continually asking, what is the ultimate goal of education, and how do we best facilitate the learning process for my students? The nature of philosophy lies in its systematic and critical approach to addressing life's most important questions. As we engage in philosophical thinking, we are encouraged to challenge assumptions, to question, and to think critically about the world. In our graduate-level discussions, it's important for you to think about how philosophy shapes the methods and goals of education. For instance, when you design curriculum or consider teaching methods, you'll inevitably turn to philosophy to guide your decisions. Think about the philosophical ideas of figures like Dewey, who believed in learning through experience and inquiry, which can guide us in creating engaging, student-centered learning environments. Looking back at the origins of education, we see that it began as a practical way to pass on knowledge and wisdom. Early education was informal and occurred in family or community settings, but it soon became more structured. In today's classroom, we benefit from understanding how formal education systems developed. From the ancient Greek philosophers like Plato, who emphasized the importance of developing rational thinking, to modern educational theorists like John Dewey, who viewed education as a process of lifelong learning, you can see how philosophy has continually shaped educational systems. By understanding these historical shifts, we can reflect on how they impact our current teaching methods and philosophies. We must also consider the nature of education itself, which is not confined to formal schooling. Education is a lifelong journey that extends beyond classrooms and textbooks. As educators, we need to understand the importance of recognizing the learning experiences that take place outside of the traditional educational system. For example, many students bring significant life experiences, professional knowledge, and diverse perspectives that enhance the learning environment. Understanding these characteristics can help you design more inclusive learning experiences that respect and build upon the prior knowledge your students bring. The connection between philosophy and education is fundamental. Philosophy gives us the framework to understand the purpose of education and helps us decide how to achieve educational goals. As educators, you will constantly draw upon philosophical ideas to guide your teaching. For example, when creating a lesson plan or developing a curriculum, ask yourself, what educational goals are we trying to achieve? And what philosophical principles guide those goals? Are you striving for critical thinking, personal development, or the acquisition of specific skills? These philosophical questions shape the strategies we use in the classroom. Let's now turn our attention to the 5 main branches of philosophy: metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, logic, and aesthetics, and consider how each one can inform our educational practices. Metaphysics, the branch concerned with the nature of reality, is central to the educational process because it helps us define what is worth teaching. When planning a lesson, consider what knowledge is valuable. How do we define reality in the context of education? For example, a metaphysical perspective may guide you in considering the nature of human potential and the role of education in shaping individuals' lives. Epistemology, the branch that deals with the nature and scope of knowledge, is also highly relevant to your work as educators. How do we acquire knowledge, and what counts as valid knowledge? In your graduate courses, you will likely encounter different epistemological approaches, such as constructivism or positivism, which can influence the way you teach. A constructivist approach, for example, emphasizes active learning where students build knowledge through experiences, while a positivist approach may focus on objective, measurable outcomes. Reflecting on these perspectives will help you shape your teaching methods and better understand the learning processes of your students. Another branch is ethics, which involves the study of moral principles, has significant implications for education. As educators, we are frequently confronted with ethical dilemmas, such as determining how to assess student performance fairly or how to handle issues of academic dishonesty. As you prepare to become leaders in education, it's important to think about how ethical frameworks can guide your decisions. For instance, you might apply a utilitarian approach to teaching, which emphasizes the greatest good for the highest number, or a virtue ethics approach, which focuses on developing moral character in students. These ethical considerations are vital in ensuring fairness and integrity within the classroom. Logic, the study of reasoning, is a key branch of philosophy that directly impacts teaching and learning. It encourages clear thinking and helps us evaluate arguments, make decisions, and solve problems. As educators, you will want to develop critical thinking skills in your students, which often involves teaching them logical reasoning. For example, in a discussion-based class, you might encourage students to identify logical fallacies in arguments or to construct well-supported arguments themselves. By emphasizing the importance of logic in the classroom, you are equipping your students with the tools to think critically and make sound judgments. Despite its apparent distance from the practical aspects of teaching, aesthetics, another branch of philosophy, plays a significant role in education. Consider how creativity and the arts can enrich the learning environment. As educators, we must think about how to foster creativity in our students and make learning enjoyable. For example, in curriculum design, you might incorporate arts-based activities to enhance engagement and deepen understanding. By exploring aesthetics, you can better appreciate how creating an aesthetically pleasing and stimulating environment can enhance students' learning experiences and personal growth. To summarize, the 5 branches of philosophy, metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, logic, and aesthetics, each offer valuable insights into teaching. 1. Metaphysics helps educators define the nature of reality and the purpose of education, guiding decisions about what knowledge is worth teaching. 2. Epistemology focuses on how knowledge is acquired and validated, influencing teaching methods such as inquiry-based or experiential learning. 3. Ethics shapes our approach to fairness, justice, and moral responsibility in the classroom, ensuring that students are treated with respect and integrity. 4. Logic promotes critical thinking, enabling students to evaluate arguments and solve problems effectively. 5. Aesthetics encourages creativity and engagement, reminding educators to foster a stimulating and enjoyable learning environment. In conclusion, philosophy and education are deeply intertwined, with philosophy providing the foundational principles that guide our teaching practices. By examining the branches of philosophy, we can develop a more profound understanding of the nature of knowledge, the role of ethics, the importance of logic, and the value of aesthetics in the classroom. As educators, it is essential for you to engage with these philosophical ideas so that you can refine your teaching practices, foster critical thinking, and create meaningful learning experiences for your students. Understanding the connections between philosophy and education will empower you to become more reflective, thoughtful, and effective educators. Thank you very much for listening.